Well, that was a ton of work, but now we have a usable outhouse. We have the Z-Best Plastics seat, and I think there's only about 2 manufacturers in Canada that I could find that actually made outhouse toilet seats like that. Most guys just build the benches and whatnot, but I wanted something a little more comfortable for the girls. So my oldest girl, Annalise, helped me out a fair bit on this project, holding things and passing things up and whatnot, but went together really well. I still got to finish the decking going up to the outhouse, and I'm gonna do a little more siding. So this outhouse is very expensive. I built it out of 3/4 inch plywood, conventional framed it, and put it on 6x6 skids and timber framed that, kind of as you seen earlier in the video. And I think so far, if I want to be honest with myself, I've probably got well over $1,500 in this. Just the sheeting so far was over $400. I think it was $500 actually. The framing was another $500. The toilet seat, or the toilet, was almost $400 by the time, well, it was well over $400 by the time I picked it up, because I had to drive a fair ways to get it. So, and then also I put the vinyl flooring in. You know, you don't have to do that, but I'm trying to make this thing last as long as possible so I can keep the floor dry. I think I got the best chance of that. The other kind of, sorry, there's all these bugs here, thing that was pretty good, when I got down about 2 feet, I got into this gravel layer, and it actually looks like the perfect composite between gravel and sand, that you could use it directly in concrete. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm gonna, when we get working on the cabin and get that torn down, I'm gonna dig it out and put a proper foundation in so this thing doesn't sag and fall over again. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking though that a guy might be actually just able to add Portland cement to this current aggregate mix and have concrete. So we'll take a little closer look. There's a few bigger boulders that I'd throw out, but a lot of gravel and sand in there. So kind of excited about having that versus trying to figure out how to get gravel and sand all the way up here. It's pretty tough. The other thing too I'm going to fill this all in underneath with that gravelly sand that I found on the property. There's a lot of rattlesnakes. I haven't seen any around the main build site here, but every time we've wandered off to go seed some hay or do other things, we've come across at least one snake every day. So kind of not a real fan of snakes, so I just want to eliminate any kind of cover that a mouse or anything might potentially attract a snake into. So we'll do that. The next part of this project will be to get the roof on. That's not going to be right now, so next steps, I'm just going to put tarp over the roof just to keep the rain out and pine needles from falling in and things like that. But I think, oh, there's a rabbit running around here. So I think I'll probably design and prefab that at home and then bring it out here and just put it up, because it seems to be about 3 hours worth of effort here for every 1 hour of effort that it would take at home to prefab stuff. So but this went together pretty well. The biggest part was having to notch the timbers and dig the pit. The rest went up super quick. If I would have had time, I would have notched all these timbers and had them all ready to install first day that I was here. But overall, pretty happy with the progress we made. Made one slight mistake with the vent stack. I drilled the hole. I built the back wall out of 2x6s, drilled the hole through the floor, thinking that I'd be able to just vent directly down. I didn't think about the timbers that this was going to be sitting on. I guess I could have moved the whole shed forward a little bit just to avoid that, and then it would have worked fine. But I think I'll probably end up drilling a hole through the floor and trying to just find a good spot for that vent stack or whatever. And if the day comes when I do turn this outhouse into just like a normal shed, I'll just plug the holes and call it a day. But yeah, so not too bad for having to figure out everything before coming here and making sure I had everything. I don't think I forgot any hardware. I put the vinyl flooring in, like I said, to make this thing last longer. My goal is to build anything I put up to last at least 200 years. My real goal is to make it last 1,000, but for something like this, a wood shed, if a guy can build it to last 200 years, you're doing pretty good. And I think once I get the cedar shingles on this thing for the siding, it's got a pretty good chance of surviving a long time and whatnot. But anyways, so tomorrow we'll tarp the roof, and I think we'll take a look at this old cabin, and I'm going to try to get some log tags or numbering on it. I want to try to get kind of the logs mapped out, maybe even take a couple home to clean them up and try to like sand them down and refresh them. I got a special sander for those kind of logs, so it basically is like a brush with like a sandpaper brush that goes and gets in all the cracks, so it's specially made for the logs. So I'll do that, and then yeah, I think we'll head home and clean up. It's been lots of fun minus the snakes, but we did a lot of fun little projects. We set up a little trail camera with over some salt we put into a log, and seeded a little garden. So my oldest girl was with me. She had a lot of fun doing that. But I think we're ready to go home. We're pretty dirty. It's super dusty here. These that mountain till kind of dust that gets in everything. You take one step and you're instantly saturated with it and whatnot. So, and we don't have a shower running water out here, so it's pretty hot out too sometimes during the day. But anyway, that's it. Let me know what you guys think of this outhouse build so far. Like I said, we're not done. I know some guys build these things and they're done in a day, and they slap them up and they're super cheap. But like I said, I'm trying to make all of my buildings and everything I do last 200 years. That's my goal. So everything's going to get overbuilt, and I'm going to put extra time and effort into everything I do. If you're going to do it once, you might as well do it right. Versus, you know, I could have slapped a quick outhouse together in a day probably, and just put a pitched roof on it, and it would have been fine. But in 5 years, I'd be rebuilding the thing. So I think this way, this should last a long time, and hopefully the kids, the grandkids, great grandkids, etc., can use it, or use the shed or building, whatever, not have any worries. So that's kind of the goal. So anyways, let me know what you guys think of the build so far. Leave your comments below, and yes, I know it's super expensive. This is definitely not a project to do if you're on a budget, but like I said, my goal is to make this thing last, not to do it cheap. So anyways, have a great one, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Oh, look at that. That vinyl flooring makes you feel almost like you're at home. And I think the little kicker plate here I put on the front kind of makes it look nice, finishes it off. So anyways, that's her.